Change your thoughts, change your life. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with my granddaughter's microphone, because I'm not going to get into the story behind it, but it's just funny. So it's just an attention getter. It's a way to stop people in their tracks and get them to pay attention. Why? Because today we're talking about changing our thoughts can change anything, can change our life. It can change our current situation. It can change and create anything that we want, because everything starts as a thought. We're focusing on mental health and well-being this whole month of this year's Supersize You annual challenge. And today we're talking about reframing and changing our negative thoughts, our negative beliefs, our negative patterns that we run automatically without even thinking about them most of the time. We just say, oh, it's just the way I am, or this is how I've always been, or this is how I think. Guess what? None of us were born thinking any of this. And so it's all been things we've pulled together based on our life experiences and different things, different beliefs, things we've overheard people say, things we've seen or read in books. It's crazy how we come up with some of these beliefs and thoughts that we have, right? So today, what are we going to do? We are going to pay attention to the thoughts that are actually rolling through our mind and our head all the time. Are we going to notice all of them? No. I think scientists have discovered that we think on average 80,000 thoughts a day. So I don't know about you, but I don't have the time and energy to pay attention to 80,000 thoughts a day. I'm lucky if I can pay attention to 5 or 10. So today we are going to work on something that impacts all of us called cognitive distractions. I know it's a fancy name, but all it means is ways of thinking that are not in our own best interest. I call that bad thinking. You can call it whatever you want. But anything that undermines us or causes us to go down the wrong thought path and draw conclusions from false and crazy thinking in the first place, we want to eliminate as much as possible. Things like all or nothing thinking. Well, I have to do this or it's the end of the world. If I don't do this, I'm going to lose my job. If I don't do this or say this or be this way, it's going to be the end of my relationship. Whatever it might be, it's the all or nothing thinking. There's nothing in the middle, right? Well, the truth is we have infinite possibilities to do absolutely anything or think absolutely anything we want. So given that, and once we embrace that and know that anything is possible, guess what? Everything and anything is possible for us to tap into and choose for ourselves. We've chosen everything that we've got right now up to this point. So if there's something we don't like, guess what? All we have to do is think different thoughts and choose different things, and then take the actions that are lined up with that. Catastrophizing. Now, I didn't think I used to do this or that I was a catastrophizer until I had kids. And I was a terrible worrywart mom, and I realized I am the same way as a grandma. So there's a pattern that I definitely need to interrupt. Why? Because it prevents me from letting my amazing little granddaughters try new things and be the best they can and do brave things that I would be scared to do because I'm afraid of heights or whatever I tell myself. So catastrophizing, thinking that anything could be the end of the world or could kill us, right? Maybe that's because I did drop dead one time, and so that stays with you, I guess, for a while. Anyway, that's not why I was that way when my kids were little. My family tells me stories about how I used to always say, don't do that, it'll kill you. I'm like, oh my God, that's horrifying that I actually did that and wasn't really consciously aware of it. Mind reading. Expecting people to read our mind, I think, is more common than we think we can read other people's minds. But mind reading and believing that you have the ability or they have the ability to read your mind when they absolutely don't if you don't communicate it is kind of a negative, whacked way of thinking, and it's going to hold us back. Creating suffering, unnecessary suffering especially. How many of us do this? How many of us sacrifice and suffer for what it is that we want? What a bunch of nonsense, right? I believe that hustle, grind, suffering, it's all optional. We don't have to choose to suffer about anything, right? Even if we're being treated poorly, we don't have to suffer about it and be a victim. We can re-engage with our personal power and say, yeah, no, not for me. Time out, stop. Not going to put up with this anymore. And set boundaries, right? Boundaries that protect us in ways, and not negative boundaries, right? Boundaries that just say, here's my line in the sand, people. If you cross it, we're not going to interact with one another. We're just not going to. So how do we deal with these thoughts? Because guess what? Out of the 80,000 thoughts we have a day, let's say only 50% of them are negative. Now, I suspect it's a lot more for some people. I even suspect it's more than half for me. And I've worked on this for like a couple of decades, but there's times when we're aware and unaware of what's going on with us, right? If I'm stressed out, more negative thoughts creep in and sneak in, which probably contributes to my feeling stressed or anxious about something. So what are we going to do today? We're going to learn a technique. It's called the CBT technique, which I cannot even remember what it stands for, but it's a 3-step process to deal with these negative beliefs. Number 1, you have to identify the negative thought. You have to be aware of it. You can't change anything that you're not aware of. If you're not aware that there's, something stuck in your teeth when you're talking and nobody tells you and you're just not aware of it, you're not going to do anything about it because you don't even know it exists. So the first thing we need to do is identify a negative thought. Then we have to examine the evidence around that negative thought. So if I think something like, oh, I'm just not good enough, I don't think this will work out for me because I'm not good enough. Yeah, I've seen it work for a million other people, but it's not going to work for me because I am this special, unique snowflake individual that only the things I let into my life actually work for me, right? So I love it when people tell me, oh, yeah, so-and-so's done that and they've been super successful, but that would never work for me. Why not? That person is proof that it can and will work for you. Because if they figured it out, you can figure it out. So we're going to gather evidence that says, oh, I'm not good enough. And then we're going to create a balanced thought, because as we look at that evidence, it might be something from when we were 3 or 4 years old that we built on and built into this huge, I'm not good enough. And it could be something as simple as your preschool teacher called on someone else instead of you. And you made that mean something that it doesn't even mean, and it never even meant. It just meant the teacher was probably being a good teacher and giving all the kids a turn, right? In my instance, because I used to speak up a lot. But we can assign meaning to things, especially at different ages, that just aren't true. They felt true at the time, and that's why we connected them. But the biggest, fastest way to get rid of a limiting belief or a negative belief or a bad belief or a negative thought is to question it. All you have to do is question it and say, well, is that true? Is it really true? Is it 100% true for everybody else on the planet? Well, then it's not 100% true for me, because we're all human. So we want to create then a balanced thought out of that. So if I say I'm not good enough, I am going to think about all the situations when I've been more than enough, more than good enough, more than capable, and I like affirmations, find an affirmation to affirm who I really am, right? We're all infinite beings. We are all incredibly amazing, miraculous, infinite human beings. And so maybe I would say something like that. So what are we going to do today? You're going to catch one negative thought, yourself saying or thinking one negative thought. If you're saying it out loud, guess what? That is a biggie, and that's probably one you need to pay attention to today. So take that, write it down. There is power in writing things down and changing things through writing. It's why journaling and scripting and techniques like that are so powerful, because writing things down is part of beginning the creation process of what you want. Then what's the evidence? What's the evidence that whatever the negative thought is that came into your mind? I could say I'm really careful about what I say I am, but let's use this as an example. I am an overprotective grandma. I am a worrywart. And then I look for evidence of all the times that I've done that. Every time I warn the girls to not do something that they're doing that's a little bit adventurous. That is an example of being a worrywart grandma. But that's not how I want to be. So I'm going to ask myself, what is an alternative? How can I be more supportive and more encouraging for them to be adventurous and curious and amazing little human beings? I'll think of that, and then I'll reframe it with a better thought that makes me and my thinking in this situation better and easier to handle, and automatically a positive instead of automatically a negative. What are some thought patterns that you notice in your daily activities? Things you think about yourself all the time. Because guess what? We think about ourselves all the time. Our perspective of the world It's all filtered through us and our thinking. How much do you go toward the worst case scenario? Are you a catastrophe thinker, a worst case scenario imaginer, or are you a infinite possibilities imaginer? You get to choose, right? You get to choose whether you're going to suffer or not. You get to choose whether you're going to feel good about something or bad about something. And I'll be honest, in any given day, I'm like a roller coaster, right? I am an emotional bag of whatever. And I just need to embrace that and realize that just because I'm feeling high or low at any given time during the day does not mean I am any of those things. We are complex, amazing creatures, and we need to embrace that and encourage ourselves to be and feel those things. Because as soon as we feel that, we can let it go. As soon as I notice that I'm feeling headachy or a little irritated or frustrated, as soon as I recognize that and name it, then I can let it go. Because otherwise, it gets stuck in us. Some of us stuck in us for decades and causes all kinds of problems, by the way. Literally, they've proven that negative thinking is linked to health challenges and different challenges in our body. Louise Hay wrote a great book on that ages ago, decades ago. I read it, the You Can Heal Your Life book. If you don't have that and you've got some ailments, just go to the bookstore, look it up, or mine sits by my bed still because like if I've got a stomach ache or a headache or something, I like to go in there and I like to see what it's linked to and what thinking it's linked to. And she actually gives you an affirmation to combat that. So you don't even have to think of your own nowadays. Heck, you can probably ask AI these days. I don't know. So then share in the comments below one thought that you have successfully reframed. So I want you to do this today. I want you to reframe one negative thought that you have today and then share in the comments below what is it or what was it. You know, like I shared, I'm not good enough. I don't know. I've been working on that baby for decades. But every time I try something new, guess what pops up? Oh, you're not good enough to do that. That works for a million people, but it doesn't work for you. Nonsense. Reframe. It works for a million people. That is proof I can totally figure it out and do it too. All right. Any questions? Hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an amazing day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.